welcome back to a new video. My name is Emma if you don't know me, and I make crochet tutorials here on YouTube. So guys, today we're here with a little bit of a different kind of video. So I made this video in collaboration with It's Erin B, my good friend Erin. You probably know her, like if you do crochet tutorials on YouTube, you definitely know who she is. But I love her so much, she's such a queen. And basically we planned this collaboration video. So what basically happened was I bought yarn here in Ireland, and obviously Erin is from America, she's from California. She bought yarn over there, I bought yarn over here, and we basically like sent each other yarn and made something from the yarn we were sent, which was so interesting because like obviously I don't know anything about like American yarn, like it's very different, like even your labels are slightly different, and I show it now in a few minutes. So I was kind of like, what's going on here? Because I don't think you guys do grams, or maybe it's like yards or something in America. I don't really know. But I was like, oh my God, it's like very interesting. So you'll see all the yarn now in 2 seconds. But I'm going to show you kind of like my process of buying the yarn, what website I used, how I chose my colors. And then from that, obviously, I sent it over to Erin. Erin made something from the yarn I sent her, and then she sent me over yarn as well. So what this kind of video is kind of the process of what we did, and then at the end of the video, or not the end of the video, like the majority of the video is actually a tutorial, and I basically made a bag from the yarn she sent me, and I made a tutorial using that yarn and making that bag. So this is essentially kind of a collaboration video, but also a tutorial on how to make the bag itself. Again, Erin, I love you so much, queen, and I love doing this collaboration with you, and I hope you guys enjoy the tutorial portion of this video as well. Again, if you have any questions about the tutorial, leave them down below. If you have any recommendations for me in terms of stuff maybe I want to make, or you want me to make, absolutely leave that down below as well. Please like the video, please subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to turn on the post notifications so you get a notification every time I post, because sometimes I can be a little bit sporadic with when I post, but I'm hoping to be a bit more consistent in the next few months. Okay, thank you guys so much, and I shall see you very, very soon. Bye! Okay guys, so basically what I did is I bought my wool on the website woollycastle.ie. So this is like a local kind of like yarn shop that's in Ireland. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. This is just generally where I get my cotton Aran yarn from. They're very good. They're very like quick delivery. So anyone in Ireland, if you're looking for like quick delivery, they're really, really good. So I normally go for Yarn Colours Epic. If you've ever watched my channel, you know like this is the brand I generally go for. Just because the yarn is very inexpensive, like it's very affordable, and they have a lot of different colors, and also cotton Aran yarn, like it's very good quality, like it's very sturdy yarn. So that's what I wanted to go with. So I decided on 5 balls of cream yarn. So in my head I was thinking warm colors, because Erin had told me like where she's living it was like 40 degrees, like it was so warm, like Celsius, like so warm. So I was like, right, in my head I was like, okay, Erin's getting warm colors for her yarn. So I went for 5 of cream, I went for 2 of the colour Urku, and then I think I went for papaya perhaps for the next one. I'm almost certain. Where is it now? Where's papaya? Oh, there it is, right there. So I went for 2 balls of papaya. So I'm kind of like going from light to dark. So I was going like cream, Urku, papaya. I think the next one I go for, and I'm getting 2 balls of each colour other than cream, where I got 5. I think the next colour I go for here is a pink sand colour, which is gorge. And I think if you ever watch my midi skirt video, that's the one I chose for that as well. Like that's the same colour. I'm a fan favourite. Also, I went for the darker kind of colour, so I went for raspberry as well. Okay, and I got 2 colours of that. So in total, I got 13 balls of yarn, and they're 50 grams each. So what's 13 by 50? Hold on. It is 650 grams. Okay, so I sent her 650 grams of cotton Aran yarn. So what you're going to see now is I FaceTimed Erin, and we're showing each other the yarn that we got. So we've received each other's packages, and the clips here are just us on FaceTime opening up the packages. So I'll see you there. Hey girlie! So come here, shall we go ahead with this?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm obsessed with these colours. So, this is literally like the ones, this is like the, what is it? It's viral. The viral thing. It's stunning. It's like there's like a viral dress. I think it's from Zara, and it's literally these colours.
Oh, I need to look that up.
Your mind. Amazing.
Okay, yarn and colors. Is that like an Irish brand or is that like a European?
I have no idea. I just get them off.
It's soft.
It's nice, isn't it? And it's so cheap. It's like 160 per ball or something. Yeah, per ball. Yeah, like it's not too bad. You know, for cotton, I'm like.
Yeah, and we both got cotton too.
Yeah, literally. These are literally so nice. I'm actually obsessed. And literally, these are perfect for the exact thing I want to make. And speaking of what I wanted to make, here is what originally I tended to make a skirt, but then I kept seeing pictures of bags, like granny square bags, and I was like, no, do you know what? I think you all know what I'm talking about, like that picture on Pinterest of the girl on the bike and the bag is behind her. You probably know what I'm talking about. I'm obsessed with that. And I was like, I want to make something similar. So that is what we went for. And now I'm going to start. So this was me making it, and it's also a tutorial. So I'm going to start on the tutorial portion now. So here we go. I'm going to start showing you the materials of what I used and what you will need also if you want to make it as well. So here we go. So you are going to need a scissors, you're going to need a 4mm hook, you're going to need a 5mm hook, you're going to need a tape measure, and you are also going to need a tapestry needle. And for yarn, we're going to need 900 grams in total, or 3 balls of each colour. I used amethyst, menthe and turquoise as my colours. And the brand is I Love This Cotton. It's a weight 4 and it's a cotton yarn. Okay, so that's your information there at the back. I would say any cotton yarn would do for this. Whether it be DK or Erin, I feel like either would work. Obviously DK, you're going to spend that bit longer on it. But any cotton yarn will do for this, I am almost certain. So these are the 3 kind of colorways I did for the granny squares. The method is the exact same for each of these squares. And you're going to be making a total of 20 of each of these squares. But I'll give you some more of that information later on. So what we're going to do first is we are going to create a basic granny square. So this is the one I'm going to be showing you on. Just for reference, it's 3 inches by 3 inches. So if you're using like a DK, maybe a different needle, whatever, you're going to want it to be 3 inches by 3 inches, regardless of how many rows you do. So here's me just doing a slip knot. If you're unsure of how to do a slip knot or any of the basic stitches, you can head over to my basic stitches video, Crochet 101, where I go over all of the basic things that you need to know for crochet. So that's just your slip stitch. Your slip knot even, excuse me. So what you're going to do, just make one, stick your hook in and get ready with your hook and your yarn. So get ready to go. So what we're going to do first is we're going to create a chain. So get your hook, face it downwards, loop it up to the right and bring it right through that space there. Brilliant. So this is also the 5mm hook as well. So face your hook downwards, loop it up to the right and bring it right through that space. Do it again, hook downwards, loop it up to the right and bring it right through that loop. Okay, so you have 3. We're going to do one more chain there. So we have 4 chains on our hook. And what we are going to do now is we're going to place our hook into the very first chain that we created. So we're just going to insert our hook directly into that very first chain. And we're going to make sure to get the front and the kind of like back loop onto our hook there. So can you see the way I have 2 kind of strands of yarn there on top of my hook, and then I have 1 strand of yarn there just at the bottom as well. Okay, so that's kind of the position you want to be in at this point. So 2 strands on top, 1 at the bottom. And what you're going to do now is you're going to wrap your hook around the yarn and you're going to pull up a loop. So you're going to go right through that space, pull up a loop. You're going to have 2 loops on your hook. Then you're going to get that first loop and you're going to pull it through the second loop. Okay, you're going to pull that through that second loop. Brilliant. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, chain 2 and chain 3. Okay, we're going to do 3 extra chains after that. So what we're going to do now, we are going to pull that little circle that we created apart. We're going to just pull it apart. And as you can see here, there's 2 small kind of holes in the middle there. So there's 1 on top and there's 1 on the bottom. Can you see them there? So if you pull yours apart, you should be able to see that there's 2 little spaces there. So what you're going to do, you're going to yarn over. That's just wrapping the yarn around your hook. And you're going to place your hook right so into the bottom kind of space there. So remember we saw the 2 spaces, you're going to go into the bottom one there. Okay. So you're going to also have this kind of like end of yarn, this strand hanging out. You're just going to place that over your circle and we're going to crochet over that. So you're going to pull up a loop. So yarn over, pull up a loop. You're going to have 3 loops on your hook. Okay, you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, So you have 2 loops on your hook. Now you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through 2 again. Okay, we're going to do this a few times, so don't be worried if you didn't get it that time. But that is essentially just a double crochet. So yarn over, insert back into that space again. And we're still crocheting over this loose end. We're going to pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So we have 3 double crochets there because that first chain 3 that we did counts as a double crochet. So what I did there is I just chained an extra 2, so just chain 2 after you've done those 3 double crochets. We're going to yarn over again and we're going to insert our hook into the very same space in the middle. We're going to pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over. We're going to pull through 2 and yarn over again and pull through 2. Perfecto. So now we're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop like so, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 2 double crochets and we're going to do 1 more. Because what we're going to do basically is we're going to do 4 kind of clusters of 3 double crochets. So we did our first round of 3 double crochets, then we chained 2. That what we just did there was our second kind of cluster of double crochets, and now we're done that, we're going to chain 2 again. Okay, and now we're going to do 3 more double crochets going into that very same space in the middle. Okay, so that's our first double crochet. Here is our second double crochet. And here is our third double crochet. Okay, now that's finished, we're going to chain 2 again. And now we're going to do 3 more double crochets into that very same space in the middle. So that is our first double crochet. Here is our second double crochet. And here is our third double crochet. Perfect. So now we're going to chain 2 like we do after every kind of 3 rounds of double crochet. And what we're going to do is we are going to look at that very first chain that we created there, and we're going to count 4 chains from the bottom. So we're going to have a look here. So that's 1. See that one? So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to place your hook into that 4th chain there, and we are going to wrap the yarn around our hook, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to pull that first loop through the second loop to create a slip stitch. Okay? So that is our first round completed, which is arguably the hardest round. So well done. And we're going to chain 1. All that we're going to do now is we are going to set our work down. We're going to grab our scissors. We're going to cut a little tail. And we're just going to pull our hook upwards. And we're going to tighten it, pull it to tighten it off there. And that is nice and secure. So now I'm going to turn it around. And do you remember the strand that we were crocheting over? So that is secured because we crocheted over it. And all that you're going to do is you're going to pull it tight to close that circle in the middle, and you're going to cut it off. Okay. So now we are going to have to get rid of this other kind of strand of yarn. And what I'm going to do is I am going to simply kind of bring it through each of the stitches at the top. So as you can see here, I'm going to insert my hook through the middle of that stitch on top. So right through the middle. I'm going to wrap my yarn around the hook, and I'm just going to pull downwards, and that yarn is going to kind of hook onto the hook, obviously, and it's going to pull it down and through that kind of stitch there. And this is basically just to secure it so we don't have to like weave it in at the end. So as you can see here, just going kind of down 3 stitches one way, then I'm turning the work around, and then I'm going back up the way I came. And then I am just going to cut that yarn off. Okay, so that is how you do that. So that is your kind of first round of the granny square. And now we're going to go in with our second colour. For me, that is the green colour. And what I'm going to do now, so you can see the chain 2, those are forming corners. Okay, so the chain 2 is always our corner. And that is the back side of the work. It kind of looks kind of bumpy, and this is the right side of the work. And it looks a little bit nicer. So just keep that in mind as you go, because we want to be working on the right side only. So I'm just going to attach my yarn. So I'm kind of looping the yarn over the hook and just pulling it through like so. Hold it pretty tight at this point so it doesn't come undone, or it doesn't kind of get loose, because it does have the tendency at this point to get a little bit loose, especially working into those massive corners. So just hold it tightly at the back with your middle finger, okay, and get into position with your other hand, and you're just going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so hold that loose end with your middle finger at the back of the work. So now what we're going to do 2 double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into that massive space in the corner, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 2 double crochets, because that first kind of chain 3 counts as a double crochet as well, like we said before. So this is the final double crochet of this corner, and make sure to be crocheting over that loose end at the back as well, so that kind of stays secure. So that's our first kind of cluster of double crochets. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go straight into the next corner. So yarn over, straight into the next corner, and we're going to pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's your first double crochet. We're going to do 2 more into this corner, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's your second double crochet, and we're going to do that one more time in this corner. Okay, and then when you're done that, so this is another corner for us. So what we're going to do, we're going to chain 2. Okay, so to create that corner, we're going to chain 2. So chain 1 and chain 2. And then what we're going to do, we're going to place 3 more double crochets into that very same kind of space that we were working into before. Okay, so 3 more double crochets into the very same space. So that is our second double crochet, and we're going to do 1 more to finish off this corner. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's your first corner created. So now what we're going to do, we're going to yarn over and go into the next corner. So you're going to do 3 double crochets in here. Then you are going to chain 2 to create the corner. And then you're going to put 3 double crochets into the very same space again. So that's your second double crochet, and 1 more double crochet to finish off this corner. There you go. Now we're going to move on to the next corner. So yarn over into the next corner, and I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. So 3 double crochets in here, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the very same space. And then you are going to move on to the next corner. And this is where it kind of gets maybe a little bit, not confusing, but this is basically what you do. You're going to put 3 double crochets into that very first space that we were working in. So 3 double crochets in there, and then you're going to chain 2 for the corner. So chain 2. And then you are going to attach your crochet on this side to the other side by counting 4 chains from the bottom, inserting into that 4th chain and doing a slip stitch. Okay, that's your slip stitch. Bring it through, perfect, and then we're going to chain 1 to tie that off. Set that down and get your scissors, make a short tail, and just pull your hook upwards to tie that off, and then tighten it with your fingers. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do now, very same as last time, just to get rid of those edges, we're going to go through the middle of the stitches up on top, hooking that yarn through like so, and they're going to turn it around and do it on the other side as well. If this is too fast and you need kind of like a slower instruction, you can just slow down the video. I think that's an option, or you can look at my blanket tutorial where I show you how to do this there as well. So what you're going to do for this strand of yarn, so slightly different to the last time, you're just basically going to put your hook through those kind of like cluster of double crochets, like the back of them. You're going to put your hook right through that, and you're going to hook the yarn through, if that makes sense. So you can see what I'm doing there. So I'm going to do that one more time. So you're going to place your hook, so you're going to kind of push it underneath those kind of 3 double crochets, and then you're going to wrap that yarn around your hook, hook it on, and then pull it down, like pull downwards to secure that kind of loose end there. Okay, perfect. So that is our second round, and now we only have one more round left to do, and it is very simple. It is almost the same. You just have a few more clusters of double crochets to do, but other than that, it is pretty straightforward. So you are going to hook that or attach your yarn to your crochet again. Make sure to hold it at the back with your middle finger. So hold that kind of loose end at the back with your middle finger. And you are going to start off with the chain 3 as we did before, and then you're going to do 2 double crochets to make sure that we have 3 double crochets in that space. Okay? Make sure that you are crocheting over that loose end as well. So yarn over. So there you go. That's what it looks like there at the back. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to put 3 double crochets into this kind of like middle space here. So there's no corners. In this one, we're just doing 3 normal double crochets. Then into the next space, we are going to put 3 double crochets. And since this is a corner, after our first kind of double crochet cluster, we're going to chain 2. So chain 1 and chain 2, we're going to put another cluster of 3 double crochets into the very same space as we did last time. So yarn over again, and we're going to put 3 double crochets into the same space. Perfecto. And then we are going to go into the next space, so just yarn over. And we're going to put 3 double crochets in here. Then into the next space, we're going to put 3 double crochets. And then we're going to chain 2. Then we're going to put 3 more double crochets into the very same space. Perfect. And then in the next space, we are just going to put 3 double crochets. So these are just 3 normal double crochets, since it is not a corner. Then in the next space, we're going to put 3 double crochets. Then we're going to chain 2. Then we're going to chain 2. Then put 3 more double crochets into the very same space to create that corner. And then we're going to put another cluster of 3 double crochets into this next space here. Okay, and then into the final one, we're putting 3 double crochets and then chaining 2 to form that corner. And then we're gonna count 4 chains from the bottom. So 1, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. We're going to place our hook into that 4th chain there. We're going to pull up a loop, 2 loops on our hook, pull that first one through the second one, and we're going to chain 1. Okay, perfect. Okay, so there it is. There's our granny square. Is it a granny square? Yeah, I'm calling it a granny square. So once it's done, you're just going to pull up that yarn and tighten it, and then you are going to get rid of your ends like we did before. So going through the middle of the stitches on top and just hooking your yarn downwards through it, and then turn it around, do it around the other side as well. So all the way down, I'm going to do 2 on each side, and then I'm going through the back of those double crochets. Make sure you're doing this on the back of the work as well, and you're just going to push your hook underneath and hook the yarn through. I do it twice just to secure it, and that is what it's going to look like at the end. Okay, so again, it's 3 inches by 3 inches. If you're using a different kind of yarn, just make sure it's 3 inches by 3 inches. And here we go. So these are the 3 kind of colorways that I chose to do. Okay, and you are going to need 20 of each of these colors. Okay, so you're going to need 20 of the ones that are purple, you're going to need 20 of the ones that are turquoise, and you're going to need 20 of the ones that are green. Okay, so in total you're going to need 60 squares. Okay, so 60 squares in total, and this is the pattern that I went for. Okay, guys, so the big kind of squares, they are 5 squares by 6 squares. They're the same pattern on both sides. Okay, so screenshot this if you want to do a similar pattern to me. Now in the next clip, I start attaching them together. You're gonna notice the squares that I'm attaching together don't match this pattern. That's because I was originally gonna go for 5 by 7, and one of these rows is no longer existing. So that's why the colors are different. So please don't be confused, because the pattern you just saw there, that is the one I'm using, the one you saw before. Okay, but this is just how you attach them together. So what you do to start attaching them together, I'm going to use a 4mm hook to start attaching these. Okay, if you can see that there, so a 4mm hook rather than the 5 that we had been using. And what you're basically going to do is you're going to lay your squares out and you're going to flip them all the wrong sides up. Okay, so can you see the way we're looking at the wrong side of all of these squares? That is what you're going to want to see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my hook. So you see that corner there? So there's 2 chains in that corner. I'm going to place my hook in the one directly below it. Okay, so in the one directly below the chain 2 that we had for the corner, that is where I'm putting my hook. Okay, so similar on the other side. Okay, I'm placing my hook in the very same spot in the one right below the chain 2. So you can see that there. So see the way it's kind of looking like I'm putting it on the right side, but basically the right sides are going to be facing each other. Can you see that? And the sides that are the wrong sides are facing outwards. Okay, so I am attaching my yarn very similar to how we did before, bringing it through, looping it up and chaining 1, holding that kind of loose strand at the back with my middle finger, so holding it tight. And what I'm going to do basically, so very simple, is, it's very simple, just a slip stitch. But what is difficult about it is sometimes it's hard to get into the chains. So see the way those chains, so those chain 2s, we kind of have to push our yarn upward. So we can't go into the big space. We have to go into the chain itself. So let me show you how I did it. So I kind of go through the middle first. Okay, so I go through the middle and then I kind of try to pull that second strand onto my hook with my fingers. Now, these teal ones, they're so tight for some reason. I don't know why they were so tight. The other ones are slightly easier, but the teal ones were pretty difficult to get that chain on. So, but there you go. That's what it's going to look like when you have it on. So again, you have your 2 strands on top and you're going to have 1 strand on the bottom. So same thing with the green, going through the middle, grabbing that chain onto my hook. See, that was a lot easier. So once you have the 2 attached, you're going to kind of pull up a loop like so. So pull it through both granny squares. Okay, and then you're going to pull that first loop through the second loop like so. Okay, so then we are going to go into the next chain. So same thing again. In this one, I kind of go through the middle first. Then I pull that second one onto my hook, making sure I have a V kind of on top and I have 1 strand at the bottom. Then I'm going into the very same stitch on the other square. So going through the middle. Oh my God, I'm literally fighting for my life here. Okay, going through the middle and then I'm getting that second strand onto my hook like so. Okay, perfecto. So then I'm pulling up a loop, 2 loops on my hook, pulling that first one through the second one in a slip stitch. So from here on out, it's pretty plain sailing. You're literally just going through normal stitches. So you're not going through those chains anymore. You're just going through the normal stitches. So go all the way down this square. And you're going to go all the way down until you get to the end. So I'm just going to speed this up here. So go through every single one, doing a slip stitch into every single space until you get to the end. And you'll have to go into the chains again at the end. Okay, so we're going to have to go into the chains here. So just make sure, most important thing, you go through the chains and not into the big space. And I know it would be easier to go into the massive space, but then we would lose that space, you know what I mean? We would lose that kind of empty space, which makes it a granny square, you know, when it looks like a bag. So it, you know, the bag just wouldn't really look right if we did it in that way. So we're gonna persevere and go through those chains instead of that big space for the corner. Okay, perfect. Brilliant. And we're going to go into that space here as well. So the chain just below that chain 2 as well. Okay, so there you go. That is our first 2 granny squares attached together. Stunning. And then the seam, of course, is on the wrong side, which is great, because when we turn it around and the right side is showing, it's going to look perfect, because, you know, it'll be an invisible seam. So now what we're going to do is we are going to attach the next 2 squares together, basically with this same kind of strand of yarn. So again, I'm going into the space right below the chain 2, or into the stitch right below the chain 2, and I'm just completing a slip stitch here. Okay, and this slip stitch is going to attach these kind of 2 clusters, these 2 sets of granny squares together. Okay, so very same thing as I was doing before, going into those 2 chains like so. And again, I'm going all the way down this row, connecting these 2 squares together. Going into the chain 2. And then also going into the stitch just below the chain 2 as well. So see the way they're attached like so. So you don't actually do anything differently. Like when you're going from one, so like when you keep going and you attach the next 2 sets of granny squares, like you don't do anything differently. You literally just keep slip stitching. So you're going to keep going until that entire row is attached together horizontally. So on that horizontal kind of line. And that is what they're going to look like when they are attached together. And so when you are finished with that, all that you're going to do is you are going to chain 1. Perfect. So beautiful. You're going to chain 1. And you are going to cut that yarn like so. You're going to pull it up. And you're going to tighten it like so, okay? And then you have your horizontal kind of line attached like that. So then what you do, you're going to bring your next row down. And you're going to start the process again, going from one side to the other side, doing a slip stitch into every single stitch along the row, okay? So can you see what I'm doing there? So make sure you are looking at the wrong sides, or that the right sides are facing, basically, and the wrong sides are facing outwards. You're just going to attach your yarn. And then you're going to go all the way down the row, doing the exact same thing as we did before. Okay, so you're going to keep going until every single row is attached horizontally. Okay, so once that is done, this is what you're going to have. Okay, disregard that one I'm trying to cut out of the screen, so disregard that. But that is essentially what it's going to look like there. Okay, so all attached horizontally, but so now we actually have to attach it vertically. So these bits here. So we're going to attach these rows, which are 1,000,000 times easier, because you only have to do 2 sets of corners each row, and the rest of them are just slip stitches, which is great. So I have just turned the work around. Okay, and I'm attaching my yarn. So again, I'm still looking at the wrong side. Okay, so looking at the wrong side here. So attaching my yarn, chaining 1. And this is my first kind of chain 2. So obviously I'm attaching them together on the chain 2 here. So just doing normal slip stitches, getting both onto my hook, getting both sides onto my hook, and just completing a slip stitch all the way down. And then from here, it's so easy because every single stitch is just a normal stitch that you go into. So all the way down. And make sure you're trying to kind of like match up the different sides together. So you're going to just go all the way down until you get to the very end. Here's me at the end. And pull that tight. So what I was saying before, you're going to keep going and you're going to finish off that whole thing, okay? So on every single row, you're going to attach everything together. That's what it's going to look like when it is done. But do every single row and I shall meet you back at the end. But what I was just about to say was you just make sure that like the first stitch is being stitched with the first stitch on the other square. So, you know, make sure you're making them even and that you're not like attaching the first stitch to like the 5th stitch. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, this is what you're going to have at the end. You're going to make 2 of these. Okay, so you're going to make 2 obviously for the bag. And then once you have 2 made, you're going to put one on top of the other, right sides facing each other, like so. Okay, and just turning it around. So it's like 6 across and 5 up and down. And then what you're going to do, you're going to slip stitch all along the edge. Okay, so I'm going to let you do that yourself because you guys are probably masters at slip stitching at this point. But you're basically just going to slip stitch all the way. So from there, all the way down here, all the way across the bottom and all the way back up. Okay, and leaving one edge not slip stitched. So here's what it's going to look like at the end after that slip stitching thing. So there's my seam there. So you guys shouldn't have any issues with this just because we have done so much slip stitching already. So turn it inside out. This is what it's going to look like. Okay, so beautiful. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do the kind of, is it called a trim? Or like we're going to go around the top of the bag with a single crochet and then we're going to do the handles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my yarn. So stick my hook through it, loop that yarn onto my hook, pull it tight, pull up a loop, and we're going to chain 1. Then we are going to do a single crochet. So to single crochet, just insert your hook. We're going to crochet over that loose end as well. Pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through 2. Brilliant. So into the next stitch, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, so keep going all the way down the row. So keep going all the way around. So go into every single stitch until you get back to the beginning and I shall meet you there. So 1 single crochet into every single stitch. Okay, perfect. So here we are at the end. Now you're going to count 2 chains from the bottom and you're going to do a slip stitch to connect the rows together. Then you're just going to chain 1. You're going to cut off that yarn and you're going to just pull your hook upwards to tie it off and tighten it as well with your fingers. Okay, perfect. So now it is time to do the handle. So, okay, open up your bag and we're going to find the sides. Okay, so there's my corner here. So just the side of your bag. It'll be in between 2 squares. But you'll know where it is. Just open your bag, find the side. So this is my side here. I'm inserting my hook about 3 stitches from the kind of where those squares meet. So I'm going to insert my hook, chain 1, and I am going to half double crochet. So I'm chaining 2 actually, and I'm going to half double crochet all along this row. Well, I'm going to do, I want to say 7. So yarn over, and we're going to insert into the next stitch. Okay, insert into the next stitch. We're going to pull up a loop like so, 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over again and you're going to pull through all 3. Okay, so that's your first half double crochet. Now we're going to yarn over again. So just getting rid of this loose end here. So yarn over again into the next space. We're going to pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. So that's 3 half double crochets. Now we're going to yarn over again, insert your hook. We're going to pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 4. Here's our 5th half double crochet. And here is our 6th half double crochet. And I have decided to do 1 more half double crochet, which makes it a total of 7 half double crochets. Then to start the new row, I'm going to chain 2. So chain 2, and then you're going to flip your work around like so. Then you're going to yarn over and go into the very first space. So the very first space there, you're going to go into that space there with another half double crochet, and you're going to half double crochet all along the row again, okay? So if you are using a different kind of yarn, you're gonna want to make sure your handle is about 1.5 inches wide. So whether that be 7 stitches or however many you need to get to 1.5 inches. But you're basically just going to go all the way back down the row, doing a half double crochet into every single space. Okay, perfect. Just cutting off that loose end. So chain 2, turn your work around again. So every time you finish a row, you're just going to flip your work around and work down the other side. So we're going to do another row, and you are just going to keep doing rows until you get to kind of like the handle length you want. So for me, that was 42 inches long. So I kept doing this handle until it was 42 inches long, or until it was, how many rows did I do here? 126 rows, okay? So here I am at the end, and this is me just attaching it to the other corner, so make sure it's even, and you're going to place it on the side like so, okay? So you're going to bring it from the outside and just place it on the outside of the work, attach it like so. Okay, and the reason why we place it like this is just so that seam is on the inside, if that makes sense. So when we kind of pull it upwards, the seam's going to be on the inside and not going to be shown on the outside. So I'm just slip stitching them together and attaching them like so. So there you go. It's all attached nicely on the other side. See the way you can't see the seam? Amazing. So now what we're going to do, this is our kind of final 2 steps, is we're going to do a round of single crochet all along the side of the handle and one side of the bag, and then we're going to do the very same thing on the other side as well, like so. Okay, so on one side and then on the other side. So just attach your yarn and place it in anywhere. It actually doesn't matter on this round where you want to put it, so wherever suits is fine. I've just decided on this random spot. So you're going to attach your yarn again, pull up a loop and chain 1, and we're going to do a single crochet all around this row basically. Okay, so you're going to go all the way across one side of the bag and up and around the handle on one side only, if that makes sense. So we're going to go, so see the handle there, we're going to go up onto the handle, like so. And the handle, the side of the handle doesn't have any like particular stitches to go into, so you're just going to stick your hook in anywhere it will go, but just make sure to evenly place them so we don't get any kind of like weird bunching anywhere. So just try to evenly space them out as much as you can. So but it's not too bad, like you'd see there, like it's not too bad at all, especially with the smaller hook. So you're going to go all the way around one side. Perfect. Here's me at the very final stitch. And again, counting 2 chains from the bottom and doing a slip stitch into that second chain, chaining 1, cutting off the end and pulling upwards, like so. Then I'm just going to, oh, you can see the handle there. So see the way that's all nicely attached together. So that single crochet round is pretty important in making the bag look, you know, professional. It looks, you know, looks sturdy. Anyway, so there you go. So do it on one side, then you're going to do it on the other side, and then you are finished. So now I'm going to show you me showing Erin the bag and Erin showing me her dress. Okay, enjoy. Been around Ireland. My bag has literally been through the wars, and the wool was stunning. The wool was stunning. Yeah. It was
100% cotton, right?
Yeah. So nice. And it's like, oh, God, no. I love it. I love it. Come here, actually, can I?
I gotta see it. I gotta see it. You're teasing me.
Okay. Here she.
Oh, shoot, dude.
Here she is.
Wait, I like how you did the strap. What the?
It like goes around, and it's like, but honestly, my fave bag ever. Thank you so much for sending me that yarn, and the color is amazing.
So it's pretty mini. I have everything tucked in.
Let's have a look.
So I did like a patch.
Oh my God. You are so talented. Get out of here.
Haven't even cut off my ends yet.
Come here. I was literally sewing in my ends 5 minutes ago. I have taken this out a million times with just strings everywhere. But come here, Erin, your dress, absolutely stunning. So beautiful.
You're such a hype man. You're such a hype man.
Because you're amazing. Because you are amazing. So guys, to recap, this is what I made. I made this bag, and then this is what Erin made, this stunning dress. And please make sure to follow Erin on YouTube and on Instagram. I've put her usernames here. So please make sure to follow them, or to follow her. And also, thank you so much for watching, guys. It has been amazing. I really love this collaboration with Erin. It's been fab, and I also really hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Also, if you make it, please make sure to send me a picture on Instagram. My Instagram will be linked in my description, and I shall see you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you later on. Bye.